Hey, what's up, everybody? WindrakeHEX here, doing a live draft commentary on for Hex. Well, on Hex, TCG. Well, the game is Hex, TCG MMO. Haven't done a commentary in a long time. Kind of just chilling, playing ladder, having fun. Cam Studios region's kind of a little messed up, but anyway, gonna try to go through some picks and talk about reasonings and archetypes and strategies. Hopefully, a lot of you are really excited to get into. Try to like get to the top of the cosmic ladder. It's real exciting stuff. I know I'm super stoked. Top 64 each ladder, constructed and limited. 128 player tournament. Winner gets $2,000. That's pretty sweet, man. On a regular basis, it's super cool. So I think I failed to pick a card. I was talking about a panic pick last minute time flux. So anyway, our first pick was Green Paw Emancipator, 4/3. They get 2/2 Shroomskins. It's pretty sweet for 5 resources. If you get some super ramp and you can play them for 10, it's super excellent. I wouldn't go ahead and call it a bomb, though it's very close. Here we're looking at mainly just strength. I really like Totem Trap. I don't. It's not strong enough for me to go into Diamond necessarily. Time Flux is good in like a tempo-y beatdown wild type strategy, and Prestigitator is excellent. Another honorable mention would be Priest of Sacred Web. Definitely generates value over time. Sometimes even sacking your own spiders it generates to make 3 more spiders is a better plan if you're like around the 6 spiders and you want to go up to like a critical mass of 20 or something. But I'm gonna go with Prestigitator here. Kind of tempo beatdown's pretty strong. I've found. Okay, so we're getting some pretty strong spider signals. Now we're not deep into wild yet. Like I don't follow up pick for wild. Like might be like Young Seer or Monk is okay. Ghostwalker's okay, but the second Priest of Sacred Web, like he's a really good stabilizer at 1/3, and his power is quite good. Um, Probably gonna go ahead and pick him up here. Kind of take it as a signal. We also saw the Runreb, the 2/4 flyer that generates spiders. If you have the Allegiance, that's quite good too. So we already have 2 cards that we'll probably play if we end up spiders anyway. Prestigitator for sure. Time Flux maybe in the sideboard if we're facing a lot of tempo and we just want to race with our spiders. Um, but definitely, we're not married to Wild just because we got a Green Paw Emancipator. So that being said, we're still pretty open. Like we're not going to be super punished taking a priest here. The spiders dries up. We haven't sent too many strong signals to our left. Um, though, if I was on the left, I'd probably be thinking spiders was open. The rare is pretty much unplayable as it's a unique tribal. It's not very good. This is more of a 5 shard card. This is good in a tempo strategy. This card's not quite good enough for me in a spider deck, as you mainly want synergistic troops. Though, if you get some strong, some of the strong sorceries or basic speed, make a bunch of spiders cards, and it's like kind of win more, but it's serviceable. Um, I'm getting a little gun shy. Kind of still want to just pick the best card, though, which would probably be the Cherry Songbird. Though it's not that great in a flyer build, like a diamond, just a 2/3. It really, if you can generate health, it's pretty exceptional. So I guess we'll kind of go on the Sapphire Blood Spider plan. Festering Decay is a good card. Alright, so our signals just kind of got crazy. So anyway, the best card in the pack by far is Pyretic Performer. Haven't seen a whole lot of Rubium until now, but we could always backdoor into a McBombus build. Or maybe even a Damage Matters build, Yodel. Um, but yeah, I'm not going to pass Pyretic Performer. It just like gives you instant card advantage often. If you're playing Yodel, the card's just totally busted. Being able to get 0 cost burns is kind of exceptional. See, we're continuing to get really mixed signals. So, kind of want to jump in the Ruby at this point. There's probably some rare drafters in this draft because this would be great if we wanted to go spiders. This would be great if we wanted to go action matters. Here's a flyer tribal. Like we're just getting pulled in so many different directions because people are just taking rares. It's kind of the problem with draft these days, but I don't know, man. This is tough. I think I'm gonna hedge a little bit and take Skitter. It's the premier spider enabler outside of maybe the one that mills fives and makes five spiders. That's pretty good too. Often this can be played for free. I think if we're like looking for playables and damage matters, say Ruby just gets crazy open. The other card is really good in action matters because it cantrips and triggers an action, but I have no idea what the actual signals are here because we're seeing three different shards. We're seeing really good cards late, and I believe that's a product of rare drafters. Maybe we just play all the good stuff and we want a Hextricator. It's not a whole lot here to pull me into any shard. This card's good in ramp though. We haven't seen if ever there was a signal, it's that wild isn't open. So we're still gonna kind of thread the line. Maybe we end up splashing some of these spider cards or something. I really want to be in an archetype right now, or at least in one shard, and I'm not quite there yet. So this is kind of an uncomfortable place to be in a draft. So I'm hoping something solidifies soon. Um, Again, if we want to go action matters, time flux is really good, but we're not quite seeing the ruby signals. We could just play kind of a borderline-ish spider deck. I guess that's what we are right now. Festering Decay is definitely good. I think it's underrated. Um, the permanent debuff is definitely a thing. Really important hex because it'll just stay there. So graveyard shenanigans and things. So um, this is a decent spider card because it can become an 08 and just stop a bunch of stuff. Whereas this kind of acts as removal and fixing, which I kind of like better and gives you an extra charge. So yeah, looks like we only if we do end up spiders, we only wasted a couple picks. Um, I love spiders in Evo. I don't really like spiders in draft as much. A lot of the key cards in spiders are good in other decks. People just kind of splash spiders now and end up taking your cards that you need for your deck. Also, rare drafters sometimes hate spiders, which is kind of funny. I've seen like no spider cards and then didn't play like won a draft and didn't see a single spider player, and there's like four buys. Anyway, so um, yeah, all right. So we're very middling right now, but it's looking like we're spiders. We got some control pieces with the festering. We got some stabilizer enablers with priest, card advantage, prestidigitator. I'm gonna pick this just in case Ruby just erupts open. This is an okay. Well, no, we'll take the on curve venom. I think that's better. Synergizes with more cards. Here we'll just hate the card that has an immediate threat to us, which is making a flyer bigger. Spiders is already pretty inherently weak against spiders, so it got better in set 4. Take a Soothsaver. No, let's just take it because it says Venom. There's lots of cards we could pick up next pack that care about Venom. One in particular, it's an uncommon. But if Spiders is somewhat open, we should see one. Yep, just stuff. So it's kind of a bummer draft. Not really a clear archetype open, which is a bit of a problem. And then some really odd signals. Like seeing this pick 5 was kind of crazy, and then not to see any more Ruby. It's confusing to me. Okay, best card in the pack. Um, okay, so how Sapphire are we and how Spiders are we? We're pretty Spiders at this point, and there's no Spider cards in this pack. So that would lead me to want to kind of hedge a little bit and take a strong Sapphire card, but there's not a strong Sapphire card in this pack. So I'm kind of left like still threading the line between two different archetypes, which I need to stop doing like now. but the best cards are in Ruby. So I'm tempted just to take a Crimson Bolt here or a Hired Horn and start thinking action matters. Maybe splashing spiders, which has to be kind of a poor strategy. Or maybe we go damage matters because um, Sapphire doesn't seem that open, like Yodel, and just do spidery things, which would make me probably I just want to go with removal over the Hired Horn. But we need a direction. Um, Rally of Kings is incredible. It's not splashable, so I don't think I can pick it. It's probably the same conclusion that guy passing to me made. Prestidigitator would be pretty good. Again, we can splash Air Evolution. I'm kind of thinking the diamond is open, so maybe we kind of like abandon everything and just go diamond, sapphire, flyers. We really want to play Rally of Kings. Rally of Kings just wins draft, but it's like our only. What would we be taking instead of it? A Prestidigitator? Yeah, I'm gonna YOLO. I've seen enough diamond being passed to think that it's relatively open. Yep. So I think we're just gonna go ahead and just shove diamond cards. I think we found where we're supposed to be. Here's some Yodel stuff, but I'm feeling better about this now with two really key cards. Two really key cards for the Flyers archetype. Well, Rally isn't good in any deck, but Spell Shield Gargoyle. And yeah. So spiders is not happening. Though we see another great spider card. Okay. Do we take that now? See, this is just I don't know. Okay, we're not splashing. I think I'm gonna have to trust my read on this draft and just start picking diamond cards and see where we end up. It's a pretty good. Granted, the confusion is why we have more cards in our bin than we have in what we're trying to build. But our shell's decent. No, it's really not. Okay, so we're in trouble for playables here. Man, this is getting real. We may have to play Shard just to compensate for our kind of confusing draft. Which would look. We could even go Quad Shard because we could splash these guys. I guess that's what happens when you get confusing signals. You just go. So look, now it looks like Yodel's crazy open. I mean, there's a good chance some of these wheel. We'd have the Duelist, we'd have the Pyro, we'd have the Crimson Bolt. This card's okay if you have a critical mass. We have that guy. We have some mixed spider stuff to go with our Yodel damage race. I'm into it. I think it's slightly better than. And we're also like, if all else fails, we just play Shard. But again, we have enough of a base. Ugh. Ugh. So another one of these. I'm thinking Diamond's gonna be pretty open. I mean, honestly, just playing a bunch of these guys, a Rally of the Kings and a Gargoyle is pretty good. I'm definitely not gonna pass these. Um, and the cool thing about playing a flyer deck is that we could still play Shard because the champion. There's not really a great champion flyer, in my opinion. But Yodel continues to be pretty open. Yodel's like crazy open. We've seen some really good Yodel cards, so we'll see what wheels. We'll just throw everything back in the back in the main because again these signals are pulling me all over. Kind of a mess, but like we'll get somewhere because we can play Shard. But Sapphire continues to not be open, so it's kind of a thing. So, but I suspect that we'll start seeing some pretty awesome. We'll see pretty good Diamond next turn, and we'll see some Yodel stuff wheel. So again, we're just kind of threading the line, and we'll play Tri-Shard worst case scenario. It's kind of greedy. It's kind of a greedy draft strategy. Um, I don't know if you guys have different insights into what should and shouldn't be done. It just Sapphire's not open, and Wild isn't open, so we're pulled in three different directions between two different archetypes. I like this in Yodel, probably a little more than a Renlux. Well, than Concussed. Though Concussed kind of does. I mean, it's two extra damage theoretically and some shenanigans, but you're oftentimes playing free invokers. Um, well, pretty much, there's nothing worth splashing in Diamond if we do end up Yodel. So that being said, probably gonna get rid of Sapphire. I think Sapphire's done. I mean, we'll play. Well, I guess nothing's done. This is a weird draft. We've read all cards. I'm trying to think. This might be handy. Probably better than a 2-drop we're not going to play. We don't really have any synergies. Necrotic synergies. So, like, there's a necrotic aggro deck that just plays as many corpse callers as it can get. It's pretty good. I've only seen it once, but it was very good. Cleanse. Yeah, sure. Cleanse for the sideboard. We may try to just force Yodel. But we're probably going to see an abundance of diamond. I got to make sure I can afford to straddle like this. Yeah, so here's the Yodel cards that wield. Blood Infusion Device is nice, but I would rather have a more consistent source of damage with an evasive 2-power troop. Yeah. So it's looking like Yodel. But again, who knows? I kind of want to do Tri-Shard Flyers, splashing some red cards. That feels like a little safer. Yodel tends to need um, it tends to need a lot of synergy to really be kind of worth it. I mean, you're taking a huge debuff on health, and a lot of the enablers aren't good on their own. Um, like for instance, Ghostblade Duelist. Like even if he does 5 points of damage, like it's not, it can't block, doesn't attack. So you know, you need like if you played four of them, it's great because then you're doing these 6 damage turns and stuff. But this card's good. It's all around good troop. Better in a tempo aggro strategy, but we'll play it in Yodel. We picked a hate card. I don't know, 3/2 troop for 3 is fine. And then opponent's playing Kyodel. It's quite good. So I'm thinking Diamond's going to be pretty open, and we're going to get pulled yet again. And we'll probably end up Yodel with some Spider sub theme, which is not the best, but as anticipated, the Ghostblade wield. So, and and we did pick probably the best um, blood cards pack one that we saw. They weren't great, but so I don't feel like we wasted a ton of picks. Like we tried to force like I think if we try to force Diamond Flyers, Diamond X Flyer dot deck, I'll get slightly punished. Um, a 1/4 isn't horrible in a damage matter deck. I mean, just stabilizing, having a bunch of these guys hide behind a wall of 1/4s as a strategy. Uh, okay, Shark's not really playable. Cleave isn't really playable. So we get in Spiders, of course. Um, it's not splashable. So we get in Flyers. Let's go back to Shard. We just, yeah, so here's a reason to play Flyers. Quite a strong reason. I mean, mainly just because Rally Kings. And we could play Ruby, and we could play some of this bad um, blood. Pride's Fall would probably be the pick, but I want more synergy if I'm going to go flyers. So, Speed Eagle's a great card. Who knows? Maybe we're just going to be Tri-Shard. Um, our Yodel cards didn't really cost us anything. They wheeled. So, if we don't end up Yodel, it's not like those last picks of Pack 2 really hurt us. Again, we're still straddling. I'm trying to look at my total troop count. I know we can make... I have no doubt in my mind we can make a flyer deck, Tri-Shard flyer themed, and then just take the removal. This little party of badasses is great. Not really essential in Yodel. We really want like skewers and stuff. I guess. I mean, these would be fine in a deck. Am I definitely a Ruby? I'm not definitely Yodel. I have a very good reason to play Diamond and Rally of Kings, and we anticipate pretty good pack. It looks like we're gonna get a pretty decent pack either way. So it's looking like we can kind of pick whatever we want. We may not be Yodel, but again, I kind of want to do the flyer thing. So Ghost Feather is my favorite card in this pack. So that's what we're gonna do. This pack sucks. So here we just kind of doesn't really matter. Maybe a Shard Call if we do end up playing Tri Shard. We might even go Quad Shard. We don't have a huge reason other than we have kind of a slightly train wreck of a draft. It's my fault. It definitely got greedy pack one, but it's salvageable in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe I've been playing Evo too much. But yeah, and any of our potential archetypes, like this kind of crazy, weird, open, not really knowing you're at in pack three is normally just a total train wreck. But because we can play Tri Shard and Quad Shard, like it's not as emergency status as it looks. Like I'm probably just gonna play a flyer deck, Quad Shard, and uh, and just call it a day. Um, Good spider card, but again, like spiders has kind of moved on though. Yeah, we're gonna see the same signals as we said in Pact One, but we didn't get the spiders in Pact Two to go into spiders. There's not really any Yodel synergies, for the exception of Staggering Blast, which we'll probably play even in pretty much any deck. Really, it's really good in Yodel. We've seen some the second cripple we've seen, which we'll play. I mean, we'll definitely pick it up if it wheels, because we're probably Quad Shard. I didn't see enough like skewers or basically removal, or like the dwarf that does 2 damage when it enters play, like those kind of cards to push me in the Yodel. We're just gonna play some flyers, a little bit of removal, and a rally of kings, and try to win that way. It's not an OP strategy. Look at that, 2 psychic torments and that. So yeah, spiders. Say la vie. Pretty much if anything we saw wheels in Ruby or Diamond, we're happy. I may actually just play the Ghost Blades and just really hope to just get off to an evasive tempo plus strategy and then use Ghost Blade as reach. It's kind of a stretch or a reach, if you will, but we don't really have a strong reason to be in blood. I don't think we even have enough cards to play Yodel at this point. They're definitely not synergistic enough. I mean, we got kind of the base, but we need more. Um, wow, fifth book. Yeah. So Temptress Blade Master is definitely good in Quad Shard, so we're gonna pick it. We don't really have removal. We're really gonna try to get ahead, stay ahead, go over the top. So some tempo plus cards would be good. Any kind of bounce would be good. Yeah, it makes me slightly sad that spiders so crazily opened up. I mean, you guys saw the pics. Like, I don't know. Maybe we messed up. Maybe we should have just stayed the course. Um, but I've hardly ever been in a draft where there wasn't, where like something like this didn't happen. Um, but we could play this on a flyer deck. It's fine. And our quad shard. Might as well make spiders. It can become a 2-2 with Rally of Kings. It can get buffed. It can do fun stuff. Here we go. Spirit Eagle. Pretty much what we want. Kind of like in this set, like when because there's so many shared in this block, if you want to call it a block, like because there's so many like good cards and so many different strategies, and you can go quad shard and stuff. Like the signals get really weird, and like you get pulled in a bunch of different directions. But at the end of the day, just playing a bunch of flyers with some bounce really gets the job done. We didn't quite get the bounce here, which is a little sad. There's some that may will. I really doubt it. Just saw the one card, but um, you really need necrotic synergies to justify this card. The Swift Strike champ Bryson is all right, but who knows? Maybe sideboarding a Scrap Tooth Crackler just because we need the trade or something. 2 drop or a wall for our flyers. It's gonna be Tri Shard, so maybe we could throw in a little bit of synergy, like a side plan. Yeah, yeah. Whatever. We're definitely playing Sapphire. I like that card. It's mainly to block up the ground early so that we can get our flyers in. But all's not lost. Yeah, no 7 for 4. Sounds like a flyer deck. There's a lot of Sapphire flyers we did not see, so I don't know. Somebody picked all those cards and then didn't want a Spirit Eagle, so I don't know what. Maybe they just threw flyers in their spider deck or something. But one speaker's definitely good, and a Tri Shard, Quad Shard, whatever we end up, probably Quad Shard. So yeah, we're just really leaning on our flyers and Rally of Kings. Shard call. Did we get a shard call? Yeah, we got one. We might not even play it. Um, hmm. Yeah, for an invasive racy type deck, I could see playing the artifact. It was kind of a little bit. Should have thought about that pick a little more. Just hate that. And wait. So is there any war? Okay, Reforged Regalia. I just said it. It may be okay. And then I think we have enough Coyote. We may play that. It's also a 3/4 grid stabilizer. So this isn't gonna be pretty, but we got enough to make a deck, right? So definitely not gonna be pretty. So we want evasion and we want stabilization. Evasion and stabilization. So the idea basically behind a Flyers deck is you want to lock down the ground with high defense troops, and you want to win in the air with evasive things. Evasive, pretty much in this block means flying. There's some unblockable stuff, but they're very on low frequency. So let's go ahead and sort by cost and try to build that deck. A deck that locks down the ground and wins in the air. So Uh, also, what you want to do in a flyer deck is race your opponent. And if you can't always kill your opponent's stuff, you want to like exhaust it or make it sit out a turn or something like that. Because basically, you want to put your opponent on a clock and you want to beat him before he can beat you. That's a race. You don't necessarily have a bunch of great ground troops that are going to trade. You typically have like 1/4s and 0/5s and stuff like that. Like you just want to stay alive long enough. You want to tip the race in your favor. One speaker definitely does all that by tapping things down or exhausting things. Pretty excellent. Talked about Regalia. We don't know yet if we're gonna have room for it. It's not a. It's a very like fringe playable card, in my opinion. Just because it's basic action, you can only use it when you attack, so it's really inflexible. But again, we want to lock down the ground. So this isn't played because it's a spider uh, synergistic card. We're playing it because it's a 1/4 for 2, which is like a thing called defensive speed is just through the roof. Like to have that much defense this early. And they could print cards like this because they don't really break the game because they don't have much attack, but they're very effective. So again, something like Cloud Speaker does the same thing. This guy here does, makes a Spirit Eagle. So that's our threat. So stabilization, 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 threat, stabilization, right? Um, okay, so this card's a bomb. Giving everything +1/+1 is great. Giving everything +2/+2 for 6 is often just game ending on the spot. Um, I mean, turning all my walls into threats pretty cool. But yeah, so Rally of Kings is excellent. I mean, the card's so good. It's like in the top 3 just busted cards in set 4, in my opinion. I'm sure there's some legendaries, but definitely in rares, it's like Runir and Rally of Kings, you know? Um, anyway, so let's play. So let's create some more threats. So we got Wakuna, Wakuna. We're going to play all these cards, but I just want to show you guys the base flyer concept. So stabilization, threats. Card advantage / threat. Oftentimes, the 3/2 is just fine. It will trade or can attack. Time flex, tempo gain. Remember, we want to race. Threat, threat, threat. Wow, we almost don't even. We don't have enough cards because we're so like. Oh, threat. Synergy threat. Synergy threat and stabilization because it's a 4 toughness troop for 4. Um, cool, right? Alright. So because we're so confused, we missed out on some decent cards. Pack 1. Well, we have enough, like. Oh. Threat and stabilization. Okay. So what's the problem with this deck so far? We don't really have crap for removal. And there's not a great flight champion. The Honeyberry or whatever her name is, the Sapphire Diamond troop champion, is like a little underwhelming if you ask me. And so I kind of just would rather just play Trishard and increase my threat density or power level than play that champion. That I mean, basically, if you can't rely on that champion power too much because it just doesn't do enough. And like basically, my the structure of my build already does what that champion basically does, which locks down the ground so you can win in the air. But that is like the essential. The champion power is basically what takes what Flyers is trying to do and puts it in a champion power. But I just feel like you can do a better job with the cards. It's not really worth a champion power. So I'd rather be able to play like Ruby and have like access to Crimson Bolt and probably Evoker. We should be doing damage every turn, unless we're just outmatched against the better flyer deck or something, which could definitely happen. But yeah, Runeair can go in there too. Has a little bit of synergy with Nizak, but it's very much not why we're playing this deck. How many Kyle do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm thinking we can play Sacred Seekers mainly because card advantage is cool. Its stats are defensively minded, though it is definitely it's underpowered for sure. But like, it's gonna draw us a card, and yeah. Um, hmm. The only reason to go in the blood would be the priest, which is pretty good in a stally type deck, even if you're not necessarily spiders. Um, Skitter, but I only like playing Skitter if I'm in spiders. I don't think it's splashable whereas the other one, the one that mills, I think is because it has an immediate effect. But yeah, we'll just play our Ruby stuff. How about that? We don't want to refute. All right, we'll play you. So now we're at 20. We anticipate playing this for a lot less than 7. It's obviously not worth it at 7, but just because we're gonna have flyers, right? Hmm. I want to just play Tempestuous just because our mana resource requirements aren't super drastic for with our champion fixture power dude. So even though if we never play Wild Shard, this is still castable. Um, Crimson Bolt. Let's see. What's our? I mean, honestly, we're gonna win the games most likely that we can play Rally of Kings, but I am all right. Tempestuous. And then do we play 18 shards? We definitely don't need to. I've been playing 18 a lot in my tri-shard decks, so it's not really necessary. Our curve is all single threshold. Like this, you want to play on 6, so the double is not a big deal. This, you want to play on 6, so the double is not that big of a deal. Everything else is pretty easy to cast, except for Spirit Eagle. Um, it's pretty interesting. I mean, we could just play Hextricator and play 17 shards because it kind of does the same thing, but we get as a shard does more or less, but it's a 2/2. Because we don't need a lot of shards to play expensive stuff. We need threshold. So I think Hextricator's gonna do more in a game than a shard. So staggering blast, we're gonna sideboard against spiders. I think it's just it's unnecessary. I mean, if someone can go over the top of us, they just have a better deck. Like we have the stabilization ideas and we have the threats in the air, but it's an underpowered deck, so I'm not. You know what I mean? So it's very matchup y, but we have a general plan, and that's good. Ghost Blades, no. Sapphire Infusion device, whew, might be worth it because we're so low on removal. Man, we really need. Like, I would have loved any kind of tap down effect, more time flexes, all that kind of stuff. Because you don't always need removal if you have all your cards are kind of soft removal, if you will, like their tempo plus plays. But that's not the world we live in. 5 minutes. All right, what do we need? This is normally like a 665. Just find what our least percentage is, which is Ruby, and we just play 5 in Ruby. Yeah, that's totally fine. We're barely Ruby, so 6. I found that 665 is just fine with the champ that we're gonna be choosing. So it's like ladder time. I'm like rank 74, and I really don't want to lose. Like every loss just hurts. I know we have a month of grinding, but oh man, this tournament sounds pretty sweet. It was just announced today. Like I'm super hyped. But anyway, let's select the champ. Um, Uzu. I mean, right? We already talked about why we're going to Uzu and not playing Honey Fluff or whatever her name is. All right, so this is our deck. We're playing basically a Flyers theme, stabilization on the ground, threats in the air. We don't have any reach or anything like that. It's a pretty straightforward deck, and we're just because signals are weird or we made a mistake or whatever. We need a third color, and usually makes that possible. And yeah, good times. If any of you guys have any critiques or you think maybe I should have went Yodel or something like that, or any feedback in general, leave them in the comments or on Reddit or whatever. And yeah, and I'll leave the results. Wherever I end up posting this, I'll leave the results on my channel and all that. And yeah, so I hope this helped. Not the best example, but we stayed flexible, we stayed open, we were a little greedy, but in the end, we made a deck that can win a game. So awesome. Thanks for watching.